Hey, Jesse,
Hi, how are you?
how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Hey, Omri, you're on mute. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Just letting everybody in and we'll get started probably around 11:05 Eastern.
All right.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, Omri,
Hello.
take off your background thing. It was freaking me out. Hey, Jeremy.
Michael, hi, long time. How are
Yeah,
you?
how you doing, buddy?
All right.
Doing good.
Yeah.
A whole different Michael. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I was like, Jeremy, I didn't know we knew one another.
Yeah, don't
Both
you know?
Michaels, how are you?
You're his biggest client. We're gonna get started here in a little bit. Um, just making sure we got everybody in here. Jess, is this your first time?
Yeah,
Where
this is my first time. I tried to, you sent me the invite a few weeks back, but I wasn't able to join previously.
where you calling from?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Okay. How about you, Michael? Tampa Bay, I guess, right?
Correct.
Yeah. See, Michael has the right idea. I have the right idea. We've always put your name and then your company so we can figure out who you are. Barry Cohn, it puts a little publicist and publisher. So definitely a good way to change for any call you go on for like these types of things. So people can get a sense of who you are while they're waiting to talk. But what we usually do is introduce ourselves, talk about some best practices that you've learned, maybe something that you're working on for 2024 that you might want to kind of ask the crowd, hey, what do you think of this? How can you help, or what's your feedback? It's kind of a sounding board approach as well. Let's see here. Amr, you got to fix your background. Let's see the car here, because it's half your body's being dysmorphed. So hey, Eve Valentini.
Yes, hello, Evan Valentini.
Evan, yeah. If you want to put your name in the window, kind of like what I have for me, so you could tell, so we know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, let me work
Yeah.
on it. Let me rename here.
But yeah, if everybody can put their signature data like Barry just did. I'm gonna do that as well. That'll kind of so we can basically refer business to each other, or at least reach out and network and stuff. So that's mine. But we're gonna get started here in about a minute or two. Hey, Lionel. Or is it Lionel? Forgot. You've been on once, I think, right? Hi. Chief Eating Officer. I want that title.
It pays dividends, sometimes in ways you don't want.
So we're going to basically get started here. We're going to say who you are, what you do, what brought you to join the roundtable today. There's always some reason why you joined, right? And then like I said, something that you're working on for Q1, Q2 that maybe we can help you figure out. I always like to kind of give tips and tricks as well. People find things that are going on that are like, oh, this is a great thing to go to. Here's a good tip. So I'm going to start just so you can see the cadence, especially for the new folks. But please also put your information in the chat. But I'm Michael Falato. I basically founded this group a little over a year ago. I've been doing lead gen for 25 years and sales for 25 years. In the last 3 years, started Full Throttle, Falato Leads, and basically have grown to about 80, 90,000 a month in revenue by just doing a repeatable and scalable approach on email and LinkedIn, and then doing these roundtables for my clients. So not just kind of a general one like we're doing here, but really kind of a focused approach, so that we're not inviting people to get an email for me, it's about selling them leads. I want to try to figure out what's going on before I start selling things. So I think roundtables or just doing discovery calls, the way you write the emails should always be who cares, so what, why you're writing this to me, how do you help me, and who have you done this for? Fear of missing out. So if you can tie into here and here and help write the content, I'll always be helpful to help with that. That's a good thing. I live in Orlando, 2 kids, and I was an Air Force veteran and black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. So that's a little bit kind of how you start out, who you are and what you do and why you join and so forth. Make sense, guys? Cool. Let's go with the new folks today. So we're gonna go Jesse, Evan, and Michael. And then I'll add some more people after that. So go ahead, Jesse.
Sounds good. I'm Jesse Resnick. I'm here in Brooklyn, New York. I've been in the marketing, advertising, sort of, I would describe sitting in between, creative services, brand strategy, technology, and entrepreneurship. Pretty much my whole career. My agency is called Experience Interaction, or EI Digital as we go by. And we have full service creative, technology, and marketing teams. And we basically build, work on retainer across those services, building customized teams to service clients. Our clients include folks like Jose Cuervo. We work with some PepsiCo clients, but we also service small and mid-sized businesses, startups. Again, servicing them similarly. We have a lot of B2C experience. We've done some B2B as well. And we have pretty deep experience across spirits, food and bev, medical aesthetics, and some hospitality. In terms of interesting things going on, we just won a big blockchain client, which is quite fascinating. Third biggest blockchain in the world. So we're just kind of, I'm no blockchain expert, but kind of learning about that world has been really interesting. And then we also just signed on a cocktails client called Via Carota. They make ready to drink craft cocktails, really high end, like bar quality cocktails that you can just buy at a liquor store and drink. So if you ever see those, they're actually quite good. And in terms of challenges or things going on, I've run this agency now for coming on 14 years, and we've really grown organically, and it's been through a lot of referral and networking and maintaining long-lasting relationships. But we're always looking to kind of grow, and I would describe myself as a pretty good kind of closer. If there's a problem to solve, we're great at that. I'm not a huge networker. I'm not a big, going to conferences sort of, person. It's never where I've put my focus. And, our team's about 30 people, and I'm just looking to find ways to kind of get out there and, find connections. And in our business, we just need 1 or 2 good leads a quarter, basically. Is really what we're generally looking for. We're not a high volume kind of shop. We're looking to ideally bring on clients that we can land and expand with. And again, on a personal note, I also really enjoy kind of entrepreneurship and helping mid-sized small businesses that we believe in, and always happy to chat and things like that. So I live in Brooklyn. I've got 3 kids, and I recently got back into skiing, which I'm can't stop thinking about, which is driving my wife crazy because I'm just trying to go skiing all the time.
Was your legs burning for the first couple times?
Yeah, I would say so. But really just can't. If anybody wants to go skiing, just hit me up. I'm ready. I'm ready to go any day of the week.
So is it more experiential digital marketing? Is it in store? Is it just digital or physical or?
So, probably positioning has always been a little bit of a challenge in this format for us because we are quite capable. So our services are pretty wide, quite frankly. But I would say going down sort of highest to sort of down the funnel level, we do brand and marketing strategy, right? That would be broad based, like with that cocktails brand. We're currently doing a whole brand strategy, platform strategy for them, redoing their Viz ID, just real capital C creative service, like advertising work. And then we treat that as full service so that then we will rebuild their website, we'll run their e-commerce with them, and we will do all of their email marketing, CRM work, run their social media, right? So it's kind of connecting what is generally thought of as brand marketing with performance marketing, right?
Gotcha.
And we sort of are blending those two worlds. I think my argument would be, I think historically brand and performance have been looked at very separately, and performance is very short-term, results-driven, and some people orient in that direction, but it loses the emotional connection and really the long-term value. And then on the brand side, that can feel up in the clouds and a little bit ethereal to people. I don't know if you remember from a few years ago, Airbnb had this New York Times article. They were like, we're not doing any more performance. We're only doing brand. And it sort of, really was a nice crystallization of that discussion. We believe that there are ways, we know that there are ways to really blend brand and performance for the optimal output at virtually any size business.
So, I think just as for the group, I mean, if there's events on LinkedIn, it's a great way to kind of fish where people fish. So a little clue would be is go to register for as many events as you see that are interesting, and then basically look at all those people in the event, and you can easily pretty much either send them a message or connect with them. To me, that's like going, okay, they're already looking, they're already interested, they already have some sort of activity, right? Same thing with groups on LinkedIn. You can send them free emails as well. I automate that so you don't have to do it manually, but you don't need to automate that if you're not going full throttle. So, but if you want, we should definitely talk. My calendar's in there, Jesse. Any questions? This is really for us to kind of ask questions of Jesse as well. So you can ask questions, or you could all, if it's deeper into like a more of like, how do you help them? You could also schedule a one-on-one with them too, but go ahead and ask. Evan, you got something?
Yeah, Jesse, I'm curious about your medical aesthetics experience. I run a behavioral health business, which for the most part is in-network insurance. So a little bit different from medical aesthetics with the cash pay dynamic, but we are branching into cash pay, right? So we specialize in interventional psychiatry procedures. One of those procedures is called transcranial magnetic stimulation, just putting an MRI magnet up to your brain. And there's a accelerated version of that is not reimbursed by insurance that we're starting to offer. So it'd be interesting to hear a little bit more about your medical aesthetics experience and what you did there, because I think there's a lot of similarities potentially.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you definitely end up having the sort of, B to B sort of HC, healthcare provider relationship, but then you also connect that to the B to C side, because ultimately you need an end consumer who is interested in that. Yeah, happy to. I mean, our biggest client in that world, we've had a few, but was Allergan Aesthetics. So the makers of Botox, Juvederm, and we've done all sorts for them. We actually did all of Allergan's whole loyalty program, rebranded the entire thing. We did the rebrand for their skincare line, SkinMedica. So yeah, happy to chat. I put my contact in there. I can also drop my, LinkedIn calendar link, all that. But yeah, happy to chat and help in any way, brainstorm, etc.
Any other questions for Jesse before we move on?
Hey, Jesse, just curious if you have a minimum retainer per month, and then whether or not there's a particular customer acquisition value that works for your services and your clients. That way we just know that.
Sure. In terms of minimum, I've always said we don't really, I'll take anything, any project or relationship where it makes sense. But it depends on the service mix, right? For most of our clients, I think where we're going to unlock a real special feature is when we're blending our services, right? We're not just verticalized into one, just CRM or just web or just brand, because that's where you create a lot more efficiency, and we're really creating a full consumer journey, right? So that said, most of our retainers start about 10,000 a month, 10 to 20, but it really depends on what the mix of services is. And we also do project work as well, right? We'll build a website. So typical client relationship for us is some amount of a retainer, and then there are typically projects on top, right? It's like, hey, here's what we're managing on an ongoing basis. We're going to manage all your first party data, all your CRM, all your email automations, how that connects to your website. And then there might be campaigns or projects or initiatives on top of that. In terms of your second question, apologies, I didn't really understand it.
So customer acquisition value, in other words, what's a client worth to someone? Are you usually dealing with people that are looking for a customer acquisition value of, so in other words, it's worth $10,000 to somebody to get a new customer, or $30,000 or $100,000?
I gotcha. Yeah, that's a great question. We don't work in too many B2B scenarios right now where we're doing that calculation, quite frankly. But I think it's a great question. And our marketing department, we have a great marketing team here. That's something that, if you're interested, we could have that conversation directly with them. That's definitely their language. I'm sort of born probably more out of the brand marketing world than I am out of the B2B sort of performance world, which that would be. But they're normally looking at sort of a similar metric, but customer lifetime value, right?
Sure.
We better move on a little bit, because I kind of get deeper and deeper in there. It's a good discussion, but I want to make sure everybody gets to introduce himself. But I just sent you an email.
Thanks,
Jesse.
everybody.
I just sent you an email, Jess, so we can chat for Michael, and then Evan. Michael, you better have some good food trucks for me to go to. I'm in Orlando.
Yes, most definitely. So my name is Michael Blasco. I own Tampa Bay Food Trucks and Orlando Food Truck Catering, and we do catering and events with food trucks across Central Florida. We go a little bit north to Jacksonville, a little bit south to Fort Myers, pretty much across Central Florida is what we do. We work with over 100 trucks. And so we're very much a boutique agency that wants to meet clients that want to be hands-off. They want things to happen. They don't really want to get into the details. What they want to do is sign a contract and pay and make sure that things happen. That's really who our target market is. Typically, it's large healthcare providers, people that want to feed large quantities of people in a short period of time and make them happy and want to feel special.
So it's event driven.
It is.
Okay. So outside of Dr. Phillips, there's a lot of food trucks. Would that be any of yours, or that's more of a permanent approach?
So we're kind of like a general contractor. We work with independent operators only, so we don't work with franchises or chains. And every truck is individually owned, and they have the ability to book themselves or be booked by others. We don't restrict that. So they're not our trucks. So some of the trucks we work with absolutely could be there in Dr. Phillips or around there. Or it could be that they're just
you're almost like a marketing conglomeration of, hey, you need a food truck? We're the Google of that, right?
Correct. Yep. Okay. And everything from matching up personalities to culture to make sure that everything's going to be a fit and it'll work is kind of what we do.
Yeah. I'm actually part of the Orlando tech community, so we should talk, because we do a lot of events. So
okay. Awesome.
Yeah, so send me some information. Any questions for Michael? Evan, is that you in Chicago, it looks like?
No, I'm actually in Las Vegas, but I've lived in Chicago in the past. So
I saw the 312. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, so Evan Valentini, Chief Operating Officer at Mindful Health Solutions. We are a private equity-owned behavioral health business. So we do, as I was explaining a little bit to Jesse, interventional psychiatry primarily, as well as general E&M psychiatry and psychotherapy. What interventional psychiatry means is transcranial magnetic stimulation, and then ketamine, both nasal ketamine and ketamine infusions. So second line therapy.
What does that mean? Nasal ketamine.
There's a drug called Spravato, which is nasal ketamine.
What does
It's
that do?
it's a second line treatment for severe depression. So it's a dissociative drug, right? I mean, ketamine is obviously a recreational drug, but in smaller doses, it turns out to be very, very effective for severe depression. So.
Not to get down the path here because I'm going to be stupid here, but I've heard of ketamine. What is ketamine recreational? Is that like pot or is it, what is it like? What's ketamine? I know I heard that name before, but I don't know what it is.
It's just it's a drug. I think you put it in the psychedelic category. It has dissociative effects.
Okay.
So that's why people take it. Yeah,
All right.
recreationally.
Not that I've done it, but I haven't.
It's also used. It's an anesthetic as well, right? So people it'll be used as an anesthetic for people undergoing
That's
surgery.
probably why I heard the name then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what drove you to join the roundtable today?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not really a sales guy. I'm a career operator.
Okay.
But as I progress, sales is becoming a more and more important part of my business. I've recently taken over the business development sales function at my company. So looking to really learn how that works, get smarter there. And I would say, my two biggest challenges, right, are number one, recruiting additional referring provider practices, right? So looking to really understand how to do that well. And then the other, as I was explaining to Jesse, is, the direct to patient component, right? So part of that is some of the cash-based stuff that we're looking to get into. The real nuts and bolts, bread and butter part of it is patients who call into our call center, prospective patients. And what we are trying to really do is educate patients who are not aware of these interventional therapies that call in looking for medication management or psychotherapy, really educating them about that and if that treatment is appropriate for them, making sure they're scheduled to get a consult for that rather than a general psychiatry consult. So
it's kind of like B2B and B2C in a sense, right? You're going after providers and then the end customer.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it's even within B2B, there's two segments, right? So it gets even a little bit more complicated. We have health system partnerships, right? Like we work a lot with Kaiser in Northern California and Washington. And then we have, large sort of institutional provider practices that we work with. So more of an enterprise sale, right? Like One Medical is an example. And we're looking to break into other health systems. But then you have the small provider practices, right? Like doctor owned, right? Which is a different sales process.
How you get into these right now? I mean, do you have some sort of sales team automation platform? I mean, how could this team help you kind of?
Yeah, I'm looking, like, the model right now is to buy some donuts and walk into the offices, right? But that's very high cost lead gen, right? So I'm looking for something that's a lower cost, a little bit more automated.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely chat with you about that part, but I'm sure there's some other folks here that can help. Jesse has a question.
Do you do, I know it can be challenging with HIPAA regulation, but do you do any data capture kind of CRM work with your existing, clients, HCP providers, or direct to consumer?
So there's data capture certainly in terms of who the patients are and what treatment they got, right? And then we have, clinician notes and stuff. And then we do track referrals from other providers and where they're coming from, right? So we can see that this provider practice referred 10 patients in the past 12 months.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Any other question? Barry, you got your hand raised.
Yes, a real hand.
Real hand.
Evan, for the individuals and for the small providers, have you considered doing webinars?
No, I mean, I'm obviously on a webinar, right? This piqued my interest. So I was thinking about that earlier, right? Is there a way to do this with providers?
Yeah,
the challenge we've had is getting anybody to attend. Right? So
yeah. maybe a good way to start.
Yeah.
I do a lot of podcasts and vlogs and stuff like that too, because a lot of them want you to be on it and they don't want to charge you. But I'd like to put those videos of what I did because it just makes you look more like an expert when you're getting interviewed. That's
Interesting.
yeah. For me, some of them don't have any audience or very little, but for me, it's just the quality of the production. You know, if it's a Zoom call, great. But if it's, I went to the letterbox me, my background's in TV. So if it looks like a big TV production, it's not going to hurt me, you know, unless I can't speak well that day.
Interesting.
That's half the time. Any other questions for Evan? Then we'll go to who was I saying next? I thought I said I had someone next, but we'll go to. I think Samuel is new, and then Ray is new, so we'll go with Samuel.
Yeah,
We'll get everybody in.
my name is Samuel Timothy. I ran into Michael at an event last week at Sandler Sales Summit. But I'm also kind of embarrassed. You know, Michael is so good at follow through after he meets people. It seems like I have dropped the ball on so many people that I bet I'll be in touch with. I can kind of relate to Jesse there. So I'm based out of Chicago. We're on a marketing agency. It's 18 years in the run. We primarily work with manufacturing and SaaS companies. Mostly well-established and well-funded organizations. We're on the demand gen and lead gen side, primarily through, like kind of Jesse explained, performance-based marketing, content marketing, and paid search is usually what drives it. And we're also a diamond partner of HubSpot. So we help implement HubSpot ecosystem for organization to run their entire revenue operations system on HubSpot. So yeah, one of our biggest struggle would be like we did have a very good salesperson, but he decided to take a job with HubSpot. So he was with me for 7 years, and then he got poached to buy HubSpot, and so that kind of put me back in the sales seat. And that's kind of why I was like, hey, I gotta get brushed up on sales training.
Yeah, the biggest thing, guys, is just fish where people fish, right? I mean, there's events online, offline. Pull those lists. I mean, for that thing that you and I went to the app. The app had a website. The website had an attendee list. They had no email addresses. Scraped that, enriched it, got the email database, and then sent you and everybody else 6,000 emails. And I had 30 meetings from doing it. So you don't always do one by one. There's a way to kind of do this right. And I'm always about passing tips and tricks and like that type of stuff. Any type of, you don't even have to say you can say, hey, I'm going to probably be in Chicago and go to this conference. You don't really have to be going.
Mm-hmm.
You can just say, I'm going to go. And then at the last second, you know, I couldn't go, but can we do a Zoom call? If they're really interested in talking with you, they'll do a Zoom call. Otherwise, it wasn't going to be worth your time anyways. So just keep that in mind. Whenever you're writing stuff, it needs to be here and here. And whenever you're trying to go after people, it needs to be about them. And if there's some sort of signal data, intent data that you can bounce off of, that's events, speak, you know, I saw you spoke, I saw you posted something on LinkedIn, that type of stuff. So any questions for Samuel? All right, let's go with Ray.
Hi, everyone. Just real quick, I'll give you a little bit of my background. I'm actually a private consultant, and I actually flex work for most of the major consultant agencies out there. I specialize in software development for ERP systems. I do CRMs and a whole quantity of stuff. I basically am here just to learn more about the sales process because I've never actually had a sales team at any of my businesses. It's always been through referral. So I recently moved to Florida, and I realized after moving down here, I don't have that local referral network in my back pocket. So that's what got me down here. Manchester, New Hampshire, basically Boston.
Boston?
Yes.
And where'd you move to in Florida?
I am in Winter Garden.
Me too.
Yes.
I'm right behind the Costco in Claremont.
You're behind the Costco in Claremont? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I am actually, I'm just around the corner. If I'm going to try to think what the neighborhood's called. Hamlin area?
Yeah. Cool.
Yes.
Welcome to Florida. It's, I
Yes.
tell you everybody, if you're not in Florida, you're losing out, guys, because you got ocean, you got lakes, you got no state income tax, and the cost of living is pretty good. But that's just me. I love the beach. It sends me out. But and you could go in the water gets to be 85 degrees in the summer, so that's a good thing. But Vegas is fun. So I know Evan's going. Yeah, Vegas is fun too. Any questions for Ray? All right. How about Roger?
Good morning, everybody. Apologies for jumping in late. When you're in the services and support business, client issues early in the morning can take your time away. Anyway, just, I work for AVI SPL. I'm the sales services executive for Western Canada, way up north, looking after an interesting industry of clients that have typically in the past not seen service as always a must-have or a value-added service. So we're looking to drive new opportunities, all kinds of different tools. I heard the comment, fish where the fish are, in using different types of tools to go after some, leads and new business, and working clients that have really put service and support in the back burner over the past many years and not realizing that they're struggling to keep up. And we've got some new offerings and a new approach to business that we're aggressively, and I'm leading it in the West, trying to get in front of clients to talk about, hey, it's an important part of your business. We need to talk.
And what's your company name, Roger? And can you put your information in the chat so we can network with you?
Sure. AVI SPL. We're the largest audio video collaborator in the world. We're a private company. We're in 60 countries, about 5,000 employees. We've been doing AV and collaboration for 40 plus years. We're one of Microsoft's and Cisco's largest global partners in the whole collaboration space, Zoom, Teams, etc.
Awesome. I actually worked in the IT space before this, and we did a lot of the level 1, level 2 IT support for companies like yours.
Yeah.
Any questions for Roger? Cool. All right, Sandy. You think you're new for this one too, right, Sandy?
I am. I've never been here before.
Welcome.
So I don't know if it's a right fit because I'm tech all day, every day, all the time. I'm the COO of a company called Unstoppable. We do Web3, blockchain, and artificial intelligence. So we create a digital identity for people. We just introduced one in Austin, Texas, for example. We introduced them for blockchains or for AI solutions, that sort of thing. I'm currently living in Scottsdale. I left my role at Amazon Web Services to come and help found this company called Unstoppable. And we're now a unicorn, which means that we just did our raise and we're now valued at $1.5 billion, which is
wow. Yeah, it's nice.
But pretty good for a startup. So I just wanted to come and listen in and kind of see what other people are doing for leads and prioritization of leads and how you are progressing your leads forward. So that's really what I was looking for today. I was actually born in Florida, though, Michael. I was born in Clearwater.
Clearwater's beautiful.
Someone said it's not humid in Orlando. I would have to violently disagree with that.
I grew up in Chicago in the summer, and it was hotter in Chicago than Orlando, in my opinion.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that, man.
I was in LA in the high desert. I was in Austin where it was really hot, and Houston's just a
don't go to Houston.
If you walk out, yeah, I just don't think it's not human here for long compared to like by the water. It's just a complete thing. And then you got where Evan lives, where it's dry heat. I worked in Chandler. It's like that's very hot too. But there's always something that you're not going to like. But for me,
it's true.
Where do you live now? You said.
I live in Scottsdale right now. It's just temporary. We're going to decide to either go back to Austin or we'll go back to Silicon Valley. So
yeah, Austin lived in Steiner Ranch out there.
Oh yeah. So we lived in River Place, which is just right.
Off the 22. Yeah.
Right. That's right. That's right. And Barry, I see you're a publicist. I just published a book on AI and blockchain. So it's very technical though. So
yeah, definitely get in touch with me. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll post Solana. Who said that? Jesse says Solana is a client of yours. Ooh, wow. I'm trying to meet with Solana. I go to New York next week and I'm meeting with the Solana Foundation next week. So
nice. Who are you meeting with? Well, we can talk offline.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously saying this is not always you're gonna be your hey, I'm gonna find the perfect fit as far as who you're talking about. Jesse, me, whoever else, Barry, we're all gonna know people that might be a good fit for it. So it's not really just to find leads at this, it's really to kind of find out what's the best way of finding using ChatGPT or AI or using automation. Just revenue ideas is really what this topic is today. So
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't even know if you guys would know what I do, but now Jesse does because he's got Solana.
Yeah,
So that's cool.
before you got on, he was talking about he just signed a blockchain company. So
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that. Oh, I missed that. Sorry, but Jesse. Wow, that's cool. Okay, we'll definitely have to talk.
yeah. So and then we got Samuel does CRM, Evans in mental health tech, and we got a whole bunch of people doing things. We got a guy that feeds everybody too.
Yeah, I mean, two things I would tell you there. So, Evan, one of my dear friends is just starting a medical company for those with addictions. He's partnered up with, he's funded actually partially by CVS, and is building an interesting tech platform. So that may be a good link for you. I don't know if you're like a VC and you get in, but it's really fascinating what they're doing. Since private equity took over a lot of the recovery centers, apparently the results have gone down dramatically. And so they've got an AI-based platform that hopefully gets those results back up for people who want to do that.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, that let's explore that, Sandy. That could be a helpful introduction.
Okay.
I just sent you a LinkedIn, Sandy, so we can maybe chat too. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
And I guess the other idea is what kind of grabbed your attention? Like, how can we help you? Like, is there something that you're working on in this quarter or next quarter that's like, you know what, I need to bounce this off some brains that's outside of my company so we can see this to see if you're going in the right path, or just to get their feedback. Do you have anything that you want to bounce off the team?
Yeah. So one of the things that we're doing is we're trying to bring blockchain technology as its output, not as the technology, to Web2 companies. So I just signed the City of Austin. I just signed a group called Pudgy Penguins. I don't know if you guys know them or not. Jesse probably should.
Pudgy Penguins?
They have plushies, stuffed animals in Walmart, and they match them up with a digital identity as well. So your child buys a stuffy, and then the stuffy transports itself to a virtual game.
What do you call those? What are those what are those called? Those
NFTs?
NFTs. Is that an NFT or is that something different? Sounds like an NFT.
It's similar to an NFT. Yes, it is. That's right. There you go. Thanks, Jesse. Yeah. So we just signed those two companies, which I would consider probably more on the Web2 side. And I'm looking to bring what we do to more Web2 companies. We have over 1,000, what I'd consider blockchain partners today. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's kind of my big one right now, is how to help the Web2 guys understand what we do as the outcome, not just focusing on the technology, because once they understand the outcome, then they want to do it, but they get hung up on the tech.
Hey, Roger, please fix your LinkedIn link. It's not working, not for me at least.
Mine is?
No, Roger's.
Yep.
His.
You bet.
I got yours, Sandy. I said hi to you. Let's see who hasn't gone yet. We'll go with John, and then we got Barry.
So real quick, Michael, on the Pudgy Penguins thing, I would say some storytelling there with some non-tech people that are more on the creative branding side would probably be super helpful. You guys will get way too bogged down in the why it's happening instead of this is what happens.
That's great advice. I like that.
Yeah, I always say when you're writing something, who cares? So what? Why you tell me this? Right? How's this help me keep my job? And who have you done this with? That's the type of thing that.
Yeah.
To me,
the good news is we've already closed Pudgy Penguins, so we got them. We got the City of Austin, so we now have Web2 companies that are buying in. I just need some more. Yep. And it looks like a bunch of people are pinging me. A bunch of people have tech in the background too. So I've been doing AI since 2016. So
awesome.
Yep.
Glad you're joining. I know. I think I saw your name pop up from an email I sent out or something. And you asked about Roundtable. I think I'm trying to remember. But anyways, any other questions for Sandy? All right, let's go with John, and then we got Jeremy. I think those are the last two here.
My name is
Barry.
John Playhive. Yeah, my name is John Playhive. I've been in the HR technology kind of SaaS space for almost 25 years, primarily in the business development partnerships area. When going back to the previous conversation, when I do some sort of sales alignment or at cross education, the way I get sales attention in just a couple sentences is typically to talk about defending against incursion. So if you are SAP and you have Oracle coming out, or if you're Oracle and SAP is coming after you and you have a gap in your product suite, I say, you can get a VMS or whatever kind of vendor that fills that gap. And that's, because if they get a foot in on one piece of your product, then they try to expand there. So defending against incursion, how to make products and vendors more sticky, customers more sticky, and also revenue generation. I try to get that out in 3 to 5 sentences right up front, bottom line first. So I'm not, I don't have any sales methodology. I just learned that the hard way. I think I found every landmine in the field.
Yeah.
So when I have a hard time getting people to the table, I think this may go back to, I don't know if it's Evan or Sean. I have in the past done lunch and learns are a little bit of a thing of the past, but I had pivoted for a while to those, order a like 2 drink things that you get at home, or a small bottle of wine that people can do, or an Uber Eats thing where people now at home can just get a quick dinner, or maybe 2. The reason Hot Toddy stands out is because I saw that as one of the last orders. People just get a 2-drink thing and they'll just listen and drink and kind of talk about what their problems are. And I try to chime in with how our solutions, or if somebody I know has a solution that can fill their gaps. Again, it's focused on HR technology typically. And so that's where.
Are you going to that event? Are you going to the event in Orlando? Learn and.
Ward?
Yeah, Ward.
I'm still on the fence. Yeah, I'm still on the fence on that. I'm tempted. There are a handful of events going on right now, quite a bit. I mean, ADP just had theirs, and there's SIA this week and a whole bunch of other things going on. But the other thing I do that you mentioned, Mike, is I'm not good at it, but I go to the conference attendee, typically the expo hall pages where the vendors are listed, and I can manually.
Yeah. That's an easy way. I said, if you could find people that are exhibiting that your clients are, because it's different, right? Either attendees, which is hard to find, so you're not going to get the list. But if you could find events where they're exhibiting, then they're listing their whole company there.
Yeah. Yep. So I start looking them up. It's a highly manual process, but at least I can manually copy or scrape that list of expos.
Don't do manual. Yeah.
I don't have a good method, but I drop that into an Excel sheet and then I start working it the old way.
Yeah, you scrape it. There's Chrome scrapers I can show you, and then enrich them using an email database like I use, and then send them a message saying, "Hey, I'm going to be at the event, even if you're not," because you can always schedule a last minute trip. You got 15 meetings, you should probably get on plane. If that makes sense. But yeah, there's spam, and then there's reasons to meet. And that's what you want to really kind of do with this messaging approach, is just make it about them.
Yeah. But so with that qualifying, like, hey, I saw your vendor, I was speaking, if they weren't at the conference, I was speaking with some folks, they told me I should reach out to you. Again, that's one of those kind of leading type things that may not be accurate, but
I would say, hey, I'm thinking about coming to Web 2.0 HR Tech in Vegas in July. Are you going to be joining? Because I'd like to meet with you. Versus saying someone said to meet with you. That as soon as you say that, you're going to lose credibility. Don't make stuff that makes you look like a oil sales guy, I guess.
Right. Well, I use a name, and I usually try to make it a little bit more qualified. But just in general, my reach out has to have purpose. But again, it's very manual. I'm not doing 5,000 or 20,000 emails. I'm just very.
Yeah. Time is money. Time is money. So definitely, I'll help you as much as I can for free. And then if you want to obviously use me, great. Any questions for John? All right. I think the only people, we've got Jeremy and Barry.
I can go. All right, Barry. I'll be the penultimate guest. So Michael, it's good. Well, I guess both Michaels, but Michael Falato, good to be back here. It's been a while. I have a scheduling conflict, so I can't always make it. So I'm also stuck here in Florida with the humidity, and I'm on the East Coast near West Palm Beach area, a place called Jupiter. Burt Reynolds put it on the map, made it famous, and yeah, it's
What did he do that made it famous?
well, he lived here, I guess. He has a
Okay.
museum named after him. He
Oh God.
you know,
He passed away, didn't he?
yeah, a long time ago. So it
Okay.
may not be as relevant, especially
Yeah.
to the young generation, but
Yeah.
that's what I've been told. And you know, that's we've been here 17
That was
years.
Barry. That was Barry's hero.
Oh, okay. Yes, we'll get to that, I guess. So what I do is I help small and medium-sized businesses, business owners in all verticals, better manage their cash flows and help them save time and money. The way to do that, my focus is on helping them streamline their processes, automating many repetitive tasks and the manual, tedious parts of a workflow that they can automate. I work with really industry agnostic, but I work with medical practices, restaurants, retail, manufacturing. I know that's a lot, but also trades, especially down here in Florida, landscaping, HVAC businesses are very good at what they do. They have great technicians, things like that, but they're not, the owner or the management are not good at actually running their business efficiently. There's a lot of, they pay with checks, you know, they do a lot of paper trail. They do not automate what their processes are. So that is what I do, helping those businesses with that. I know my delivery hasn't been very smooth. I'm still nursing my morning coffee, excuse me. And
Let's be honest, you actually had a lot of liquor last night. You're not being honest with us.
that's it.
That's
Yes.
it.
And
Cool.
but I just want to say good to be here. And there's a lot of stimulating conversation. And I appreciate how people get pretty deep in their business and what they do. And also very AI and tech kind of dominated, which is what's happening in our industry, whatever business we do. And people like Evan, I don't know if he's still listening, but you know, we may be in ops, we may be engineers, we may be scientists, data analysts, but we're all sales. We're all salespeople, whether we want to or not. Reluctantly, I don't come from the sales background, anything but, you know, but I'm kind of been thrust into this role,
Yeah.
and we're all selling ourselves, especially now in a a network group like this. So that's
Yeah.
just
Thank
something
you,
to keep
Jeremy.
track of.
Yeah,
Something to keep in mind.
if all you also can post the link for this for every Wednesday that we do this. I mean, we had like 3 or 4 people new today, and I love it. I don't want to have the same people every week saying, "Here's what I do." It always, if we can each bring a person, it's gonna throw out more people and basically say, "Okay, let's network." You know, if I always suggest give people referrals. You know, I give 10% of my gross, not my net, to anybody that helps me. I say, "Listen, here's just for passing your name along." Great. One of the biggest thing that I'm doing now is I take people's LinkedIn profile, automate their first connections for me, and I do their second connections. I do that for a month. And I get tons of leads. They get tons of leads. It's kind of a barter, kind of get to see how it works. So the best thing you can do too is look at your first connections and their second. And if you have Sales Navigator, you don't even have to have automation. You could, but you could just say, okay, here is 25 people that are working with a friend of mine, like I mentioned, or a competitor. And there's a really good way of kind of using it as an anchor. I call them anchors. Or why would I want to talk and why would they be interested? So little more tip there for second connections. All right, Barry, is there anyone else that hasn't gone besides Barry? All right, Barry.
Okay, good morning, Barry Cohen, Adlab Media. I started my career in media and marketing in 1979, over 40 years ago. Started in broadcast and radio, advertising sales, and transitioned over to the small ad agency PR firm side. And for about 20 years, we handled small emerging brands of natural consumer products. If it was kid safe, pet safe, eco-friendly, or body friendly, that was our niche. 5 years ago, my friend of 40 years, business partner of 20 years, died. I transitioned my practice over to now about 85% of my time is spent working with people that want to become known as thought leaders. So I help them to raise their profile and credibility through publishing and publicity. So I help them create and promote their intellectual property, their books, their articles, and get those things published and get publicity around them so that they're known as the expert. 50% of my client base are coaches and consultants. The others are attorneys, accountants, educators, professors, and just progressive entrepreneurs that want to stand out from the crowd. And I take my own advice. I just had an article in New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Programs magazine called Manufacturing Matters. I've got 5 of my own books out, and I've done about, I don't know, over 24 for other people. And at any given time, I've got anywhere from 6 to 10 books in the works. I have an alliance with an independent New York publisher. So we have our own business imprint, Mentor Business Books, and also we're in the process of launching a university press for a small university up here in New Jersey. I've lived here all my life and am hoping to sell my home very soon. And yes, move to Florida, where I have family and friends in the around the West Palm area.
Come on, Sandy. Come on back. Come on back, Sandy. Any questions for Barry? I saw someone pop on. Brent, are you there? And can you turn your camera on if you want to say hi?
Yeah, give me just 1 second to get my camera going. And that works.
There you go. So Brent, why don't you? I don't know if it sounds like you just jumped on. We're introducing ourselves. Where are you from? Why'd you join the Roundtable? What's something that you're working on for this quarter, next quarter that maybe you can bounce off the group here and kind of brainstorm?
Great. Well, thank you for having me. And Sandy, it's good to see you again. I met you a few years ago and always want to keep up with you. Done a better job. I wish I'd done a better job of it. Hi, I'm Brent Brightwell. I'm based in Austin, Texas. I'm a Central Texas based consultant. Do a lot of fractional work around growth, revenue, marketings, and product. I've been in technology for about 25 years and started consulting about 10 years ago when I left HP. What was the other?
Why'd you join the Roundtable? What's something that you're working on that maybe we can help you with?
Yeah, I'm going to come back with the ask next time, if you'll allow me. But right now, I joined the call because you were so persuasive in your email marketing. I appreciate that. But I want to understand a little bit more and do some networking, some fellowship, reconnect with you because it's been a long time, and just learn more about what we're doing here. And if this is something I could benefit and benefit others with.
Yeah, just definitely networking, best tips and tricks, bouncing ideas, thoughts, advice off of people that are like-minded. Referrals, I think, is a big thing. Everybody should be able to give each other referrals if you want. I mean, you obviously do like kind of the pay it forward approach as well. But yeah, it looks like we have about 6 minutes left. Anybody have any questions for anyone that we haven't kind of dove deeper on? No?
I'll ask a quick question for Barry. Do you help folks like kind of, I always get hit up by like ghostwriter kind of folks who are like, oh, I'll help you write your book. Sounded like you were more on the I've written my book, you're helping get it out side of that equation. Is that right?
Let me answer that the best I can. I meet you wherever you are on the journey. So whether you need me to function as a ghostwriter, a developmental editor, a publisher, or a publicist, or all of the above, wherever you are on the journey, I can work with it.
And if you need voiceover, guess who has a good voice? This
guy.
No,
you were saying radio. I was like, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've
Great.
done a lot of that. In fact, I even recorded my own audiobook. I'm going to be doing another one soon.
We got two new people that just joined about 5 minutes before we end. Guys, I want you to do a quick intro of who you are, what you do. Keep it to a minute because we only got 5 minutes left. Elon.
Yes, my name is Ilan, based in Seattle, and I do SEO.
And who's your typical client?
That's a really great question. We actually work with a larger variety of clients, and the reason why is because we've developed proprietary technologies that allows us to work with a handful of different clients. So yeah, we work with a wide range from construction to e-commerce based companies. So yes.
Put your information in the chat here. Just like your LinkedIn, your phone number, your email address. If someone wants to interact with you. Jeff.
Hey, Michael, how you doing? Great seeing
Good.
you.
How you
again,
doing?
my friend.
How you
Good.
doing?
Not too bad. Just got back from Florida, so just after
You
a
back
couple
in
weeks.
New Jersey now?
No, back in Atlanta, but my Boston accent is never.
It's Boston,
left
not
me.
even New York. Okay.
Yeah, I know that. But basically, I specialize in social selling and the incorporation of AI in the social selling and marketing processes. A good client for me is someone who wants a workshop on how to sell more effectively in the social media area, utilizing the various tools that are out there, as well as incorporating AI in their business processes. Thank you.
What's your you say kind of what's your typical client, but is it a particular size of company, revenue?
I've done work for AT&T, IBM, a lot of smaller companies. That might be a mortgage brokerage firm. It could be an accounting firm, could be a law firm. It depends, quite honestly, on the needs of the respective businesses. So it's somewhat agnostic with regard to the size of the firm, just someone that needs help in that particular area.
Hey guys, I'm gonna probably start doing like a small highlight in front of each roundtable where we talk about best practices based on your expertise. Like I don't know, Sandy, if you want to do something next Wednesday, because I really don't understand the blockchain thing too well. I know how to get leads for them, but I want to understand what's best practices where you're looking for blockchain approaches and stuff. So I want to open it up to you guys. Can email me and say, hey, I'd like to do, 2 weeks from now, I'd like to do the 5-minute, I call it a highlight spotlight of, and it's not really built for a commercial. It's really built for like, kind of like what I did at the beginning. Like, here's some ideas around automation that you can do. You can help. I can help you, or you can do it yourself, but it's just really, let's make this more into an education first within the first 5 minutes. And then we can go in. I think, but I love how people can introduce themselves and talk about what's going on too. So I don't want to be doing a webinar either. But yeah, if anybody wants to kind of go deep into what you do, but why you do it and how it can help, and here's some tips without even hiring you, that's the best thing. Is kind of like, here's how to do it a little bit. And if you want to hire me, great. That's the kind of give to get I would love. It's always tease them a little bit. So let me know who's interested in doing that. But Sandy, I'm particularly interested in learning more about blockchain. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it next week, though. I'm traveling to New York, so I'll be with clients Tuesday through Friday.
Okay.
But I could do it the week after.
Sure. Just send me an email and just remind me, and then I'll send you an invite to just so I can remember that you're going to do it that day.
Okay, you got it.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in, Barry? No, you're saying goodbye? You're waving goodbye. Okay. All right. God bless everybody. Thank you for joining. Please introduce anyone else to this roundtable, and let's grow this thing into 40, 50 people. Once we get big enough, which I was doing once a month, I kind of broke us out into rooms of 4. But personally, I like to keep everybody in the same room, so I'm not trying to figure out who did talk to someone last roundtable, last group. It's like, it's too stressful. All right, take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
Michael.